Hey everyone, welcome to the Higher Alignment Podcast. I'm your host, Minh-Thu, and I'm an executive coach focused on helping people heal their burnout and reconnect to their purpose through self-mastery. I'm a recovering perfectionist and control freak who spent too many years living overwhelmed and exhausted. Now I show executives how to identify their blind spots and use this to propel them on their journey to finding more fulfillment and freedom without burning out. If you've been feeling lost and disconnected in life, book a complimentary connection call to discuss how we can get you back on the path of self-mastery and living a life that feels successful on your terms. Go to higheralignmentconsulting.com/program to book your call, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so in today's episode, I'm going to give you a line of questions that I use with my clients when they're in the process of healing their burnout that are extremely vital and informative. Now, before I get to that, I quickly want to make you aware of the reframe that I have on burnout, because I personally think burnout is a huge opportunity for all of us, okay? So, most people think burnout is due to the fact that we have too much on our plate, okay? And there's some merit to that. But the root cause of burnout is actually disconnect or misalignment within, okay? So I know everyone's busy. You got kids, you got a full-time job, you got a business, you got soccer practice, you got to get to the gym, you got to make dinners, you got to do laundry, you got to find some time to maybe meditate and take care of yourself. And oftentimes that time doesn't ever show up. Then you got to go to bed and you got to do it all over again. Okay. So I know that there is no shortage of demands on you. However, disconnect comes from us either being misaligned with those things that are on our plate, or more often than not, it's because we're misaligned with how we're actually approaching those things that are on our plate, okay? And as long as we focus on exterior things to heal the burnout, we're going to continue in this cyclical nature, which means we get a little bit better, then the burnout creeps back in. We get a little bit better, and then it creeps back in, okay? Now, I believe burnout is a huge opportunity for all of us because it's letting us know that our soul, our heart, the true us is ready for a shift. It's ready for a level up. But we can only have that level up once we've tended to the things that are out of alignment within us, okay? Now, of course, the common indicators of burnout are what? Brain fog, obviously exhaustion, overwhelm, anxiety, being highly irritable, lack of patience, physical breakdown in the body, poor sleep, poor digestion, being really judgmental and critical of others, lack of sympathy for others. These are all indicators that the body will start to put out when it's saying, hey, we're creeping into burnout and we need to do something about it. Okay. Now, what most people tend to do is they'll use exterior things to quote unquote heal the disconnect. So that's things like eating clean, going to the gym. Maybe you're more strategic with your time and your planner. Maybe you are even getting an assistant if that's available to you, hiring people to do things that maybe aren't necessarily a you job, but are something that someone else can take care of for you that would alleviate some pressure off you. Now, these are all beneficial. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying these aren't important. They are important if you have the ability to do these things. However, in my opinion, these are maintenance techniques. Okay, these things can't heal the root cause of what's disconnected or heal the root cause of your burnout. These are things that you use once you're in a relatively regulated state to maintain you not going into extreme burnout again, okay? Like obviously eating clean and working out is super important, of course. However, again, if we're not dealing with the root cause of why you're out of alignment in the first place, these things will help a little bit, but they're not going to actually take care of what's out of alignment. So what that means is the only way you can really get to the bottom of what's going on is to look deep within. And that means taking a hard look at the relationship with yourself. Now, I do tell my clients it is hard to have discernment when you're looking at the relationship with yourself if you are in a fatigued place or if you're in the red zone. Okay. So I do in my program and with working with my clients, I go through regulating the nervous system first, which I'm not going to get into too deep today, but you have to get your energy or your fuel tank to a stable ground in order to have proper discernment and look at what's out of alignment within you. Because if you're in a depleted state, that means you're in survival mode, which means you're looking through fear-based goggles. Okay. Everything's going to seem a little bit more doom and gloom. Everything's going to seem a little bit more irritable and a little bit more negative when you're in a dysregulated state. So it's really important to get your nervous system to a place where it feels like, okay, I'm safe, right? I'm safe. I have enough energy in my tank to get through my days without feeling like I'm on edge. I don't feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. I don't feel like I'm going to crash all the time. It's important to get your nervous system to a relatively balanced standard in order to, again, have the faculty and the capacity to really look at what's going on within with an objective and subjective lens. Okay. Now, the line of questioning I'm going to give you right away here is really important because what it does is it takes a deep dive look at the relationship you have with yourself. And I will tell you right now, as long as the relationship with yourself is out of whack, you will continue to experience burnout on everything I love. Okay. It will be a perpetual cycle you will have to live with for the rest of your life. And I know that sounds awful. But it's true, right? Because again, if we're thinking about disconnect, then that means we're disconnected with us. And we're not disconnected with the world. We're disconnected with how we govern our world within. Okay. So these questions I'm going to give you may sound simple, but when you ask yourself them, I want you to answer them very honestly, not with the answers you think are the right answers, okay, with the answers that are the truth. And I don't want you to overthink it. Okay, so if you want, grab a pen and paper right now, and I'm going to run through these questions with you, and then I'm going to offer you a reframe with them after. Okay, so
if you've been feeling exhausted and overwhelmed with your day-to-day life and you're not sure whether you're actually burnt out or not, go take my free quiz called Is My Burnout Fixable? It only takes 1 to 2 minutes, but it will give you an assessment on what level of burnout you're currently experiencing and also provide some tips you can start to implement right away to help improve your current state. So go to higheralignmentconsulting.scoreapp.com to take the quiz and then DM me or tag me with your results. All right, back to the episode.
first question. How much time do you spend with yourself with no distractions? So no phone, no kids, no work, no TV, no music, nothing. And I want you to break this down to an average of minutes or hours per week. So I want a number. The next question, do you check in with yourself? This means asking yourself how you are. Do you need anything? Actually taking the time to listen yourself. Do you check in with yourself and ask yourself these questions? And how often do you do that? Number 3, what is the tone of the voice in your head? Is it compassionate? Is it judgmental? Is it very, you should be doing this? Is it controlling? Is it shameful? Is it kind? What is the language that you use to speak with yourself internally? The language you use to speak to yourself internally? And what is the nature of that tone of voice? Number 4, do you feel comfortable being with just you? So this kind of goes into what question one was with how often do you spend time with yourself, but do you feel comfortable being with just you? That means no distractions. You don't need other people in the room. You don't need noise on the background. Do you feel comfortable just sitting in stillness with yourself? 5, do you make plans with yourself or others that you stick to? And the reason I say either or with yourself or others, you can answer that as one or you can answer that separately. But do you make plans and do you stick to them? Now, number 6 is kind of a piggyback off that, saying, do you honor commitments to yourself? So some of you may have answered that last question with, I often hear like, yeah, I'll make plans with others and I'm always there. But when it comes to doing things for yourself, it's a lot easier to sometimes let that slide because, of course, no one's going to know except you. And typically we let them slide when we have things to do for other people instead. So 6 was, do you honor commitments to yourself? 7, do you ever lie to yourself? Now, my clients often ask me about this one because they're like, well, what do you mean by lie to yourself? I mean, do you say you're going to do something? Kind of goes back to question 6 and then not do it. Do you ever tell yourself, I'm fine, knowing deep down that you're not? Do you ever excuse others' actions and say, oh, it's not a big deal to yourself when it actually is? 8, do you feel comfortable in your own skin? So this is a little bit different than being comfortable being with just you, because the earlier question is, are you okay sitting in stillness by yourself? Do you feel comfortable in your own skin means, can you be in a room full of people? Can you be on stage? Can you be on display and truly feel comfortable in being seen fully for who you are? 9, do you have faith in yourself? So do you believe in yourself? Do you trust that you can get things done or work towards a goal? And 10, do you trust yourself? Now, with those 10 questions, I want you to kind of look back at all the answers. And now what I want you to do is I want you to pretend you're dating someone new. Okay. So you might be married in a long-term relationship. We're going to put those people aside for a minute and we're going to say you're in a brand new relationship. Okay. Now, I want you to go back through each one of those answers. And then whatever that answer was, I want you to apply it to your new relationship. Okay. So hypothetical. How often do you spend time with yourself? I've had clients say 20 minutes a week. Cool. So that means you spend 20 minutes a week with your new boyfriend or girlfriend. Do you check in with yourself? I have a lot of clients say no. Okay. That means you never check in with your new boyfriend or girlfriend. What is the tone of your voice in your head? Some of you might said judgmental. Okay. So when you talk to your new boyfriend or girlfriend, the tone is judgmental. Hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down here. But once you've gone through these answers and now you're reflecting them onto your new relationship, what would you say is the quality of that new relationship? Is it green flags? Yes, we got a strong foundation. We're building it. It's amazing. Or is it yikes? Like, I spend 20 minutes a week with them. I never ask them how they are. I talk to them with judgment and shame, like, who would want to date me? Okay. Now, some of you may have had great answers out of this. Kudos to you. Most of my clients that I've done this with, it's a little sketch. Okay. And the reason I bring up the example of using a new relationship is because when we ask these questions about ourselves, we don't think it's a big deal because it's our norm. Like, it's normal that I never ask myself how I am. Okay, well, just because it's normal doesn't mean it's healthy. But when we think about quote unquote societal norms with our relationships with other people, if you never ask someone how they were, well, then all of a sudden we can put into perspective the quality of the relationship. But again, the truth is, in our society today, we're taught more to relate with others than we are with ourselves. And in my opinion, that's why a lot of our relationships suffer, because we don't have a good relationship with ourselves. So I hope going through these questions is really eye-opening for you, because this is going to give you a really good idea as to where the status of your relationship with you is, and also why you're burnt out. Because if those questions, again, were kind of a quote unquote red flag relationship, this shows why you're perpetually experiencing burnout and going through these cycles. Okay. Now, how do we remedy this? Well, what I advise my clients to do is you need to start dating yourself. So the same way you would put effort into a new relationship, you need to start doing that with you. I break it down to 4 areas that you need to put kind of drops into each of these buckets every week in order to start building that relationship. That is love, trust, effort, and communication. Those are your 4 pillars that you want to start pouring into. And if you start to do that, that relationship with yourself should improve. And then I would encourage you, do these same questions once a month to see, you just have monthly check-ins with yourself as to how that relationship's going. But I promise you, if you make the relationship with yourself your number one priority, not only will you heal your burnout, okay? And I also want to mention with that, like, we will continue to experience burnout throughout our lives because burnout, again, as I said in the beginning, is an opportunity of leveling up. And it's your system telling you, hey, we're ready to go to the next level, but we have to shift some things. So you'll feel it at certain points throughout your life. It's never going to completely never be in your body ever again. However, it should never be perpetual. It shouldn't be, I don't remember the last time I wasn't burnt out. Okay. It should be like, I rarely experience it. And when I do, I know I'm just getting to the next level. So use these questions. Continue to be curious about yourself. Don't try and shame away the burnout or any of the symptoms you're feeling. Don't try and repress them. Get curious. Ask these questions. Start to date yourself. And then let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear from you. Either comment on the podcast, send me a message on Instagram. Just keep me posted on how this process of dating yourself is going. And I promise if you do that with enough intention and love and compassion, you'll get to the root cause of why you're out of alignment. You'll start to heal your disconnect and your burnout. And then this is when the doors of what life can truly feel like in a free and expansive space can start to open up.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Higher Alignment Podcast. If you got something out of this episode, I would ask that you please go leave this podcast a 5-star review so that it can find its way to other people who are having a hard time and need support. My mission in life is to help executives realize that we don't need to suffer in silence while still performing at a high level. I want to help free people of the heavy pressure they carry on a day-to-day basis, and having more people listen to this podcast will do just that. So wherever you listen to your podcast, please go give it a 5-star review, and we'll see you in the next episode.